Yes, you can boost your confidence in 5 easy steps. Let go of feeling stuck in old emotions and doing years of therapy trying to fix yourself. Look, trust me when I say, I've spent decades researching and developing this method, and I've narrowed it down to the 5 most proven steps that anyone can do. It won't cost you any money or take a lot of time. And I'm so excited to be sharing it with you here today. Have you ever been in a social situation where all of a sudden you feel nervous, you feel flushed, and your mind goes completely blank? Let's say you're at a family dinner or just hanging out with some friends. Everybody's talking and you want to jump in and contribute so bad, but instead you start feeling more and more nervous. Your palms get sweaty, your throat tightens, and when you try to speak, your voice feels shaky and weak. In one moment, everything was fine and you were doing all right, but in the next, you're sweaty, overwhelmed, and just really not okay. Well, these are not just random reactions. Most of the time, it's a pattern, and it happens in very distinct circumstances. And we all have these sore spots or sensitivities, and that's our step number 1. Identify your triggers. So please start paying attention and taking note of what unique circumstances trigger you. What ticks you off? What makes you want to run and hide? Acknowledging and knowing what these are starts paving the path to building your true confidence. And with this awareness, you'll start noticing new things. For example, that there's a huge obstacle standing between you and most of the things you want. To make this point, let's go back to the scenario with the family or the friends. And right before you try to speak, you have all these thoughts running through your mind. Like, what if I mess up? What if I forget what I was going to say? What if they laugh at me? What if I'm wrong? And what I say makes them think I'm weird or make me look like a fool. All these fears and worries and doubts plague your mind and stop you from expressing yourself freely and easily. This brings us to step number 2, mastering your self-talk. Please stop eating those self-doubting nuggets. Instead, shift your focus to encouraging and supporting yourself and consciously replace those negative thoughts with positive, empowering ones. Your mind is chattering anyways, so why not make it positive? Now let's switch gears from the mind to the physical body. Have you ever noticed how superheroes in comic books stand a certain way? There's an interesting study from Harvard where 2 separate groups gave the same speech to an audience. Group 1 did power poses like superheroes before they gave their speech, while Group 2 performed low energy poses like hunching over and looking at the floor. And guess what? Group 1 with the power poses performed a lot better, while Group 2 actually struggled and almost put the audience to sleep. Another Harvard study shows evidence that exercise boosts your mood and confidence. When you go for a walk, do exercise like yoga or lift weights, your brain releases endorphins, making you feel happier and confident, even for hours after the exercise. Which brings us to step number 3, good posture and movement. When you stand tall and exercise regularly, you're signaling to your brain that you're capable and powerful. So keep that chin up, tiger. Wow. Okay, so we covered the mind and the body. And you don't want to miss the next item on the menu. How about a big dish of busy schedule and a side order of not enough time? Do things pile up at home like the laundry and the dishes and it's just a big mess everywhere? Take a look around because this can have a negative psychological effect on you. Trying to focus or do work in a messy, disorganized room can be overwhelming. Your mind feels scattered and you will probably get really frustrated because you can't think straight or you can't even find the keys that you were looking for. Studies show a connection between a messy room and feelings of anxiety and depression. So whether if you're too busy to clean and then you feel bad about yourself for it, or the reverse, if someone is already sad or depressed, they're less likely to do any cleaning and organizing. And if things pile up, it weighs on you mentally, becoming a downward emotional spiral unless, of course, you break that trajectory. Which brings us to step number 4, declutter and organize. I know it sounds a little silly, but things like finishing the laundry, making your bed, cleaning the floor, or organizing your desk can make a huge difference. A clean, organized space supports your focus, peace, and gives you a sense of accomplishment. But that's if you're doing this yourself. If you have someone else do this, you'll miss out on all the needle-moving benefits because the whole point here is that you're doing something for yourself and then finishing that task feels good. And you feel good about yourself. By now, you might be noticing a pattern. That confidence isn't something you're born with or something that's just thrown on your lap. A baby doesn't know how to walk the first time they get out of the crib. They practice over and over, and eventually there's that one moment where they get their balance just right, stand on their own, and take a couple steps. Isn't it sweet? You see that glory and joy in their face? Well, the same goes for you. Maybe it's the first time you're going to be speaking and presenting in an important meeting. Or you're at a party where you don't know anybody. There's a bunch of strangers there and you want to start a conversation with somebody new and make some friends. Which brings me to step number 5, social practice. Start out small, like baby steps, like just saying hello to the cashier at the supermarket, or maybe asking how their day is going. But keep it simple and small, and keep practicing until you get more and more comfortable with it. Then gradually start adding more to the conversation and becoming more outgoing and socially confident in a very short time. And there you have it, folks. The 5-step poise method. Practice and stick with it long enough to make it a habit. Because the more you practice this method, the more your confidence grows.